So, 5.5 is all about work-related violence, and this work-related violence, I can claim, is a global issue, especially during this pandemic, because people are not mentally strong anymore. So, a lot of stresses. We discussed already the mental ill health issues, and if those issues are there, expect more violence. But let's see how NEBOSH is guiding us, what are the risk factors and how we're gonna control that violence, like work related violence. What does that mean? Any incident in which a person is abused, threatened, or assaulted in circumstances relating to their work. Any incident in which a person is abused, threatened in any way, or assaulted in circumstances relating to their work. No, risk factors for violence could be like cash handling, loan working, representing authority or wearing a uniform, dealing with people under stress, dealing with people under the influence of drugs or alcohol, censoring or saying no. How to say no, when to say yes, when to say no. It's another highly important skill we require. Now we have a group exercise. What occupations are most at risk of work-related violence? And why? What are the risk factors that mean these occupations are more at risk of work-related violence? So let's discuss only the first part. What occupations are most at risk of work-related violence? As per your experience, your understanding. What occupations are most at risk of work-related violence? Over to you guys. Thank you very much for your great contribution, Michelle. Sharing your experience, your perceptions, your understanding, your opinions, Michelle. What occupations are most at risk of work-related violence? We're not talking about the reasons, we are identifying the occupations, the professions. Or you believe all? Some another, or we can identify the occupations mostly are in trouble, facing work-related violence. Yes, please. Okay, let me share one case study, here. A new waitress was hired by the restaurant manager, and the existing waitresses, they were already used to face work-related violence and harassment and all that. They were used to through the kind of pressures and stresses from the restaurant manager, and the harassment mostly was coming from the owner of restaurant. And the moment that the new waitress they hired, she denied to be part of the same culture. She denied to be harassed even from the owner of that restaurant. But everyone, all other waitresses, including restaurant manager, every day they were just punching his mind with those statements. Look, he's the salary payer. Look, he's the salary payer. From where are you gonna get your salary check? Don't go for any, don't take things serious. We all are used to. After all, he's the salary payer. So why you're worrying about? And it's our daily, kind of small things. So don't worry about them, because they are habitually accepted and used to for those harassment. But that new waitress, she didn't accept. The moment the owner of the restaurant just shouted and, tried different things. Then he simply reported to the legal authorities, even though that owner of the restaurant was having some legal powers or some political influence into that region, but still she ignored, because she made her mind not to accept that kind of violence or harassment, even from the owner of that restaurant. And the moment that case was reported, one of gentlemen came in and he purchased that restaurant because that was penalized and went to the jail. He was prisoned and later on a terrible case in the court. But a nice gentleman purchased that restaurant and he hired the same lady and he gave the restaurant kind of, a recognition only for women. No man is going to be work here. So that means the restaurant manager was also terminated on spot, because immediately he purchased the restaurant and he mentioned, you have no other option. You have to sell your restaurant. And so this is sometime the employees, they can come with strike. They could be bold enough. It's not like all 5 fingers are equal. If you are giving stress to this finger, it is acceptable, but think about the other 4 fingers also. Everybody is different. So today or tomorrow, you have to face consequences. But let's discuss what are the other occupations, like the hospital accident and emergency staff. They are mostly on risk. Police, social workers, bus and taxi drivers, firefighters, paramedics, or even traffic wardens, railway staff, or teachers. What are the control measures for violence? Discover the extent of the problem by collecting and analyzing incident reports. First of all, encourage your employees not to hide any sort of violence. Don't hide it. And you are the one, as a even safety leader, to give a reporting mechanism or kind of reporting system, so people can easily, without any threats, they can report those violences or harassment even. And then you can have kind of interviewing staff, formally or informally, staff surveys. Some companies, they just send one paper and they ask different questions, and then you submit back that filled paper, and after that they analyze whether our employees are happy or any violence or harassment issues they're facing, whatever different questions are there. So these are all are the ways to find out or assess the magnitude of that problem. At a center office, make sure you have zero tolerance and prosecution. Security staff, make sure is there. CCTV, security doors. Minimize queues and waiting times and display waiting times, training and screens. Panic alarm, pleasant environment. So if you truly want to avoid from violence, this is kind of system you must have to be put in place. No harm to have conducting home visits, no work in high risk areas. You can have some incident records and vetting customers. Even no harm to create a visit logging and pre and post visit communications. You can provide several training related to control measures of violence, and communication means kind of a GPS system, no visits after dark and not carrying cash or valuables. So people can avoid from different kind of violences. So that was all about 5.5.